Hi, I'm John Rowland with Highland Lapidary, and today I'm here to talk to you about our new V1M reciprocating flat lap. The concept of this is like pretty much all of the reciprocating type of laps, where we've got an off-center shaft that moves the plate in a reciprocal action, and it's moving it fairly quickly, so you get a really good grinding action. And we did it, there's laps out there that are smaller, but they're about the same kind of money, and if your output production on a bigger lap, you can get way more product out and keep your labor really low. And if you're polishing slabs in the States, being able to keep low labor cost and get a lot of output is really important. So the concept behind this, basically, it has a main plate. This plate is removable with 6 bolts. These brackets basically keep the plate perfectly on center, and the plate is a double-sided plate. Now, you'll see on some lapping machines that the plates are made out of aluminum. If you've got an aluminum plate, that's not going to last very long. Even a steel plate will wear out after some time, which is why we did a double-sided plate, because you get double the life then. You know, you got this plate of steel, why not use the other side? Now also what can be accomplished is you can put one side for polishing and one side for grinding. It is a heavy plate, so it takes a couple people to flip it over. It's a 10mm plate.
How big a diameter is that?
That's it's 1 meter inside of our ring. So this is like a 1 meter 62. So it gives you a 1 meter workspace inside,
which is 39 inches.
Yes, 39 inches. Now, also, you'll notice that some of the laps that are available ride on little ball bearings, little nylon ball bearings. And the problem with that is that those have a limited life. And when they start to wear out and go flat, then you lose your action and you have to stop and service it. Well, what we did is we used these chains. Now, when you look, this whole plate is basically, it's floating and hanging on the chain. Now the chain, one, chain is very cheap, but two, it's stronger than all get out. This is like a lifting, we get this out of basically a lifting company. So it's very heavy duty chain, and it allows very easy leveling of the plate. So if you buy one of these flat laps and you get it into your shop, the first thing you're gonna do is take these 3 bolts out and lift the upper ring up. You can just lift it up some and space it, and then you're gonna get a level, and you'll level the plate using these 3 bolts, so that where it's sitting in your shop, you have a perfectly flat surface here, because when you put the water in here and the grit, you want it sitting level. If it's not level, the action won't be that good. All your slabs will slide over to one side and not really move on the table. But it's very easy on this machine to level it, because you got 3 points. You can put a level, 3 different ways and check it every single way.
Talk about why you went with 3 legs, even though fabrication's more difficult with 3 legs versus 4.
Fabrication is more difficult with 3 legs. We've discovered that. We made a special jig to do it. But 3 legs, the nice thing about that is it's really easy to level. If you have 4 legs, 1 short leg, always you're going to have tilting and rocking. So if you go to level a 4-legged machine, being able to adjust it, you're going to have that 4th point that's constantly to get the tension even between your like on the old HP machines, it was cables. To get that tension close to the same, it's more of a pain. The 3-legged machine is very, very easy to level. So simplicity was part of it, like to use it. Now the other thing is that once you have it leveled, then this ring, the purpose of this ring, like if you'll see that this upper ring just sits there. Now what it does is it keeps the slabs from coming over and hitting the side of this pan when it moves. Because if the slab gets to the side of the pan and then the pan's reciprocating like this, it'll hit the edge of the slab, it can chip it or break a little piece off of it, and that's not desirable, of course. So this ring, basically all it's doing is retaining the pieces inside and keeping them out of the contact with the moving edge. All we do when we set this is we get some big washers and we put a washer underneath the edge 3 or 4 places, and then lower the ring down so we keep a small gap there so the ring isn't rubbing on the pan, but that it's not so high that the slabs can get underneath it. You don't want that happening. Once you set those 2 things up, you're good to go, and you can just run the heck out of it.
Talk about the design. It's a 1/2 horsepower motor, and I noticed down here really big bearings.
Yeah, we put a big beefy shaft on it because I don't like repairing stuff. So if I can put a heavy shaft on it, heavy bearings, it makes it, 1, much more reliable, and 2, it is really strong, and it's going to be a long time between repairs. And you'll see it's a really simple setup. A single shaft comes up, and there's an eccentric up at the top on the end of the shaft.
To explain to people that they don't know that term, what that means.
It means there's a hub here that, I'll reach my hand in here, on this counterweight. There's a hub here that, as you see me turning it around, it's moving off center. So that controls how much of a throw you have on your plate. Now we predetermined that because we did all the experiments and figured out exactly the right throw to get the right action. The motor on this is very easy to adjust. It's got a single adjusting bar, and you don't need a lot of belt tension on this because it doesn't take that much power to throw the plate, because with the counterweight up here, it's basically a balanced system. Now, the other thing I'll talk about, since people will wonder about it, is when you look at this counterweight assembly, it's on a threaded rod. That allows you to move the weight in and out. That's how you balance the machine. So when you have proper tension on the chains, not crazy hard, like if people tighten them up too much, then they'll start putting too much of a side load on this bearing, and it will cause the bearing to fatigue prematurely.
Now, should people need to do any kind of changes to the counterweight, or is that pretty much?
In general, no. You get it, it's very, like we set these up and test them straight from the factory here, and we balance them. But when you do level the plate, if you change the tension dramatically on the chains, you may need to do a little balancing, but there's not that many things to change. If you feel the tension on the chain before you level your unit and do your best to replicate that, then chances are you won't have any problems. You'll set it up and you'll start running.
Anything else that people should know as they're setting up the machine? I know some people bolted it down and they're not actually level, and then they've caused some problems for themselves. Can you talk to that?
You don't, in general, you don't really need to bolt the machine down. What we do in our factory is we get a sheet of 1/8" rubber, and I cut out little squares and put them underneath the feet. It keeps it from wanting to walk as much, but you don't need to put a bolt in the floor. If you have the machine really out of balance and you bolt it down, then all you're doing is you're forcing all that energy into the framework, which you don't want to do.
Right, so just having it sitting on rubber pads, then you're able to know what's happening with the machine.
Make sure it's running balanced with the adjustments of the chain and the weights, and then it's a trouble-free machine.
Great. Thanks, man.
Hey, thanks for watching today. If you like what you see, click the like button. Subscribe if you want to get more videos like this, and down below in the description you'll find a link that goes to our website. It goes to also what we showed you today, more information about that, and leave comments if there's things that you like, if there's things that you want us to do more on, if there's videos that you want us to shoot that we haven't shot. We're very open to that. We're really looking for ways to help you be successful in your endeavors with the tools and technologies that we create, as well as any other aspect of the hobby.